This has been Hey Coach and the Kalen DeBoer Show. Hey Coach and the Kalen DeBoer Show has been presented by Alpha Insurance. You do your thing. We've got you covered. Hey Coach and the Kalen DeBoer Show has also been brought to you by Toyota. Visit your local Toyota dealership today. Toyota, let's go places. Bud Light, easy to drink, easy to enjoy. Everwood, the official treated lumber of Alabama athletics. And by Ford. Visit your local Ford dealer, proud sponsor of the Crimson Tide. The preceding has been a Learfield presentation.
You need a lawyer and pick up the phone. I'm attorney Gary Lackey. When you call for a lawyer, where does that phone ring? It might be in a call center somewhere, maybe 100 miles away, but my phone rings in my office.
The Lackey Law Firm.
I'm attorney Justin Lackey. My phone rings in my office too.
So does mine. I'm attorney Jennifer Lackey. And when you've been hurt and need help, we're here. We're the ones who take your call.
And get what you deserve.
You want to talk to your lawyer. You don't want to reach a call center. With the Lackey Law Firm, that never happens.
The Lackey Law Firm.
And this is the most important part. We'll treat you like family because that's exactly what we are.
The Lackey Law Firm.
And I'll go you one better. If you can't come to us, we'll come to you.
The Lackey Law Firm. The Lackey Law Family. 1-800-4-RIGHTS.
No representation is made that the quality of the legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by other lawyers.
WCZN, Union Grove, Huntsville, Alabama. 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Well, welcome. We're here today to celebrate a tough team, a storied football program. This year's Commander-in-Chief Trophy winners, the Army Black Knights. We're also joined by Army football's biggest fans, Bill and Steve of the radio show Crawdad's Countdown to Kickoff. Well, thanks for making a trip from Alabama.
Welcome, Army sports fans, from sea to shining sea. This is Bill Crawdad Crawford, and the mere sound of my voice, my crackling voice, fighting a little cold today, lets you know that it is time to talk Army Black Knight football. By the way, I never get tired of that introduction. That was a pretty cool day. Pretty cool day. Well, today, President Biden called out Steve Cripey, the human Ouija board. He is actually on vacation. It's somewhere in Virginia, but I'm joined with a couple of other folks. One is the long snapper, Jeff Johnson.
Good evening. Thanks for having me.
Oh, man, wouldn't have it any other way. Jeff has the distinction of having played both on the sprint football team, the 178-pound team, and also on the big boys team as the long snapper. So, Jeff, we are glad to have you here today. And we also have Barrett, the Dirt Pig Crawford.
Hello. Great to be back.
Great to be back. One of our regular broadcast members now, who is a lineman for the sprint football team.
Offensive lineman.
Very
small.
Yeah. Big difference between offensive and defensive linemen. And folks, if we are 3-0 at Army, which we haven't been for quite some time, we're off to a great start. Probably the best start I've seen in quite a few years. And we'll let you know a little bit about the show tonight. But before we get going too far, I want to mention our great sponsor, Brian Hammaker and North Alabama Mortgage. Go see them at northalabamamortgage.com. And, a mortgage company cannot say, oh, I guarantee you're going to get this interest rate. But I'll tell you what Brian and his team can do. They can get you the best rate that's available right now. And now is a good time. The rates are down. It's a great time if you want to refinance, get rid of some credit card debt, buy a house at the beach, or just get a better rate on your mortgage. Go see Brian and his team. So great company, great people. Brian is a great guy, as are all of his people. I know because Barrett and I both know they did our mortgages. So Jeff Johnson also was an astronaut trainee in the Army. He'd done a lot of cool things, but he was in the stadium for the great victory over Rice. And Jeff, tell us a little bit about your experience at the game.
Yeah, it was a great day, beautiful day. Unlike the two games I remember last year, it was raining hard, those games, and we lost both of them too. But beautiful day, and I really think the key to the Army victory, to the Army team's inspiration, was that white over gray worn by the Corps cadets. Really, it was truly inspirational, Bill.
Classic look. It's a classic look.
Well, let's just get that out of the way right now for all the haters out there on our Facebook page who every
The
time
Corps
the Corps shows up in their combat uniforms, they say, "Oh my God, get off my lawn." The Corps has. Well, guess what? They won in combat utilities and they won in white over gray. I will admit they look more like cadets in this uniform than the other uniforms, but
well, uniform or not, I mean, they're stationed in the end zone for these games, and they got Tsunami playing. They got like the loudest fan base probably in college football right there, just so close to the field. I mean, it's just unbelievable to be near the Corps cadets.
I tell you what's also cool with the stands getting renovated over there. You can the howitzers are so much louder without
a little bit more echo.
Yeah, there's it's a much louder boom when we score.
Well, Jeff, there's another reason you were up there, and I told you I'm going to drag it out of you, but Jeff is a proud dad for a certain specific reason. Tell us what that is.
Yeah, so our youngest daughter, Caitlin, Huntsville High graduate, is a firstie now. She's the company commander for H2, Happy 2, which is fitting because at her prep school, her TAC nicknamed her Smiley Johnson. So now she's commanding Happy 2, H2. And
that's
got to see her march in the Thayer parade. So that was pretty cool.
So you have a daughter who's worn a lot of stripes. Barrett, you were on the regimental staff. Jeff,
that away.
I tried to get those stripes, but then they got taken away a few months.
So what's the highest rank you
achieved? I was a lieutenant. I got to be a platoon leader, which is enough for me.
Well, I guess I'm the low man on the stick because
how many stripes do you get?
I got 2. I never exceeded anything past the rank of activities or party sergeant, which in company F2, that was a mighty important position because we had a lot of fun. So tell us a little more about the game day experience, seeing it from a bird's eye view. Didn't you meet the Soup?
Yeah. The Soup stopped by the tailgate. Steve Shalou, my classmate, has a big tailgate and A-lot that a lot of my classmates go to. The Soup stopped by and it was really cool. I think he stops. It's very convenient to the stadium, obviously, right there in A-lot. But we get quite a few VIPs swing by. Beth Munkin stops by.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. The AD was there with his parents, so that was kind of cool.
Oh man,
I'm just name dropping. I'm just name dropping right now. Yeah.
Well, we are going to go ahead and be joined by our first guest. He called a couple of minutes early, and we'll just jump right in and grab a hold. Our first guest is Zach Gold, who is the Director of Player Personnel for the Army Black Knights. Zach, are you with us?
I am, guys. Really appreciate you having me on.
Well, hey, we appreciate you taking time out. I know there's got to be a lot. I didn't even think about this when, we normally do our show on Wednesday night. And normally there is not a game on Thursday night. So I'm sure everybody's scrambling around up there, but thank you for joining us. And I know you're new to the Army staff, and we've got a lot of people who listen to the show and follow us on Facebook, of well over 4,000. So introduce yourself to the Army listeners. Just tell them a little bit about Zach Gold.
Well, I'll start off. I'm a New York City native. Went to Northwestern, where I worked under Pat Fitzgerald in their football program for 5 years, helped kickstart my career. And the prior 5 years after that and before coming to West Point, I was actually at our opponent tomorrow night. I was at Temple, where I finished up as their director of scouting. So definitely going to be a bit of an emotional return to Philadelphia for me, but had the opportunity to join Coach Munkin and his staff here about the beginning of July, and it's been an absolute dream come true. Just a special place, a special program, and it's blown me away every day driving into the office.
So you're going to be kind of like Josh Heupel going back to Oklahoma.
No kidding. Hope it works out the same way as it did for Coach Heupel too.
Well, tell us a little bit, because I really don't know. What does the Director of Player Personnel at the United States Military Academy do?
Absolutely, guys. So for me, my day-to-day really looks like trying to find and help our coaching staff find our next great group of cadet athletes. every year that'll represent the academy and the United States Army. So I've walked into a really good situation here with this recruiting class, continuing to build on that and put the finishing touches on there. Moving forward, just watching as much film as possible. Obviously, we are a national recruiting program, trying to find the best, brightest, and toughest from anywhere in the United States. And helping our coaching staff maintain their recruiting boards. There's just so much information that flows with the amount of young men that we're recruiting, consolidating all of those things, and just putting our coaches in the best position to succeed at selling the academy, selling our program. That's really what my director of player personnel role entails.
Hey, Zach, Jeff Johnson, thanks for joining us tonight. I was curious if you could talk a little bit about the differences in recruiting at the academy versus, Northwestern or Temple. I know those are outstanding academic programs, but I'm sure there's other challenges associated with an academy.
Yeah, and again, I'm still learning on my feet a little bit here too. I will say it is a lot similar to Northwestern, and that was a big draw for me as I learned about this opportunity and pursued it. The overlap between Northwestern specifically and West Point with their academic profiles is, transcript needs to be evaluated before anything else. And there's, a large percentage of the pool that does not, unfortunately, have the grades or the test scores to do it. So before anything else, from a time on task standpoint, you need to make sure that stuff is high and tight. Obviously, recruiting's so different to, when I was at Northwestern, there was no transferring. The NIL game didn't exist yet. That did start to become a reality as I was getting to Temple and through my time there, and now being on this side of it, that isn't obviously something, again, that we can participate in, which has been refreshing in some ways. You're really getting people that want to be there, that know what it's going to look like walking in the door. So, yeah, again, the sheer numbers and volume of what you have to bring in, and it's great. The 85 scholarship limit, doesn't really exist here. It's just about what our roster can carry. So, unfortunately, there's situations at those other two places where you have a really, really good board and you fill up, and you got to say no to some really good football players. You have a little bit more flexibility here at West Point to take them and figure it out down the line. So that's been a really good part of being here. And it's just, again, it's all about the volume, and you guys know about our roster size and how we have to recruit at West Point. There are so many good high school football players out there now, especially with the world of the portal and those scholarships being allocated differently at some other places. So you don't have to look very far to find a guy that can do it for us.
Oh, that's great. And this is Barrett, the Dirt Pig, talking. My question to you is just kind of what you talked on with the NIL, and I guess how much of a factor is that with the current batch of guys we have on the team? I mean, with NIL deals coming out, are people approaching them? I mean, how does that work with? I mean, I imagine we recruit some of the guys who want to be there, stay with the team, be at West Point, but I mean, we did have a few that transferred out of West Point. So what does that look like from your perspective as NIL deals are coming and they possibly get to our players?
Well, I mean, obviously, as I'm sure you guys know, any cadet, not just football or any other sport, the cadets, as part of coming to West Point, don't have that ability to monetize themselves and their name, image, and likeness. If someone does have that opportunity, and again, with how new I am, this will probably be something that I encounter as hopefully not, but as we get to the off season and complete this year, that may happen, and if it does, it does. Again, our roster is very robust. Coach Monken's put together an unbelievable winning culture here as we're going through his 11th season at West Point. I think at the end of the day, it's all about who wants to be there and the brotherhood in that locker room. I think those things are sacred and they cause a lot more retention than you would expect.
Oh yeah, and we hope they stay too, because that brotherhood you talked about is strong. And I mean, the next man up mentality is just phenomenal.
Yeah, it really is. It's blown me away every day just being around these young men and how they approach life on the football field, how they approach life down in the core. They really are our full package of this generation.
Hey, Zach, I have a question. Like a school such as a Southeastern Conference school, their recruiting base is pretty much nearby. Like Alabama's recruiting base is the Southeast. A school like West Point, however, which has a nationwide recruiting base, how do you neck that down? And how do you find the people? Do high school coaches send the information into you, or do you guys have to go out and find them, especially when they got to have the grades that they do?
Well, it's all the above. And we do work with some really, really strong vendors in the college recruiting and player personnel space. So we're able to get some lists that way. We divide up the country amongst our staff, and those guys will go out on the road and own a specific area. And, they're responsible for knowing who all the prospects are that are admissible within that particular area. And where I come in to help, especially in season, is, while those guys are game planning, if I can work with our vendors, get some lists and just keep watching as much film as possible, contacting these young people over Twitter or by cell phone for transcripts, test scores, what have you. There's always ways to gather more information. So we're taking recommendations, we're using services, we're out pounding the pavement ourselves. It really doesn't stop.
Hey, Coach, speaking of vendors, I assume you're talking about services that provide tape and all kinds of stuff about young high school players. I'll tell you my story. It doesn't take long. A long time ago, I made the cover of the Nashville Tennessean is making a pretty good play, and somebody sent it to Bear Bryant. I got invited down there and went into Coach Bryant's office a little scared to death. He exhaled a cumulus cloud of smoke over my noggin, and he said, "Son, you look a hell of a lot bigger on film than you do in person." So hopefully you're getting a little better stuff than that. And well, what if somebody's out there and they just say, "Hey," because in our little world, we get stuff on Facebook all the time, and I get people coming up to me on the street and they say, "Hey, I got a real good athlete here, but West Point's not looking at him." Would they just take a tape and send it in, or a cassette, or whatever they do nowadays, and just mail it to the athletic department at attention Zach Gold?
Yeah, I mean, and again, I'm reachable on Twitter. My Twitter is at @thegold_WP. So Twitter, email. We're constantly getting cold calls like that, so to speak, with film, introducing us to people, all the above. So yeah, we're still getting those every which way.
Well, that answers that question. Jeff, go right ahead.
Yeah. Did you want to talk about what's going on with the NFL for our players? Can you elaborate on that, Zach? Or are you tracking what the latest is?
Oh, I don't want to talk about it, but I wish Zach would.
Yeah, Zach. What we're asking is. Yeah. Can you kind of lay down what's the latest?
To be a little more specific on that, kind of tell how that works as far as the NFL interacting with you guys. How do you reach out to the NFL? Just tell us that process.
Yep. So as part of my role here, not only is it the recruiting and personnel side of things, I am our pro liaison at West Point. So what that entails is the NFL scouts do go out on the road every year and hit every major Division I college football program to visit with us in person, to watch practice. Sometimes they'll go to games as well. I serve as our program's primary point of contact as it relates to them scheduling to come visit us, getting on post, watching practice, gathering background information. So I think to date, our West Point main Twitter account does a great job of thanking those teams and acknowledging them as they come through. We've had about half the league already visit us at this point. As far as, I'm sure you guys, we're referring to the service requirements after graduation. And obviously we've had some young men actively playing in the league right now that have had the opportunity to defer that service till they got to hang it up. Right now, it's all a little bit over my head, to be completely honest. I do know that teams are coming through here and evaluating our guys as if they'll have that same opportunity, and there's a lot that can always change over time. And as we get through the draft cycle, so again, I can't really speak too much to what's happening at the Army level as far as that continuing to be the case. But I do know that the league is taking our guys as serious as they ever have been.
Well, I think at the Army level, it seems to change every year anyway. So it's at least it's working now. At least the young men say, "Hey, I got a shot." Well, go ahead, guys.
Well, Coach, I had another question for you about with the recruits and, that visit to West Point. I remember when I was a little high schooler going and I got to stay the night with a cadet. When you bring a recruit to West Point to show them around and you show them those 3 Heisman trophies, I mean, what is that recruit visit like typically?
Yeah, so we have 2 different types of visits. The unofficial visit where, your prospects and their families are paying their own way to come visit West Point. And usually, this time of year, those are mainly done around a game day. So we had prospects here at Mikey Stadium for the game this past Saturday against Rice. They come up, they see the game, purchase a meal with us, get a chance to mingle with our staff pre and post game, and they're on their way. We have other events through the year where we are able to show off a lot more of campus, some of the high points, Cadet Chapel, Trophy Point, obviously Mikey and our athletic facilities, the mess hall, things like that. The official visits where things are all expenses paid. And, that's when we're able to put them up in a hotel and really spend a good 2 or 3 days with them, 2 nights in a hotel, could be 3 days. And that's where you're really able to get a lot of personal one-on-one time and really show them the life and get them around our cadet athletes as much as possible. They're going to sell this place so much better than I ever will, because they're the ones living it day by day, and, their stories and their backgrounds are just so tremendous.
Well, Zach, let me ask you this. How do you like it up there? I know it's a little bit different. I know all 3 of us went there. It's near and dear to our heart, but how are you liking it up at our rock-bound Highland home so far?
Oh, it's been spectacular. It really has been. I mean, pregame at Mikey, I get goosebumps every time. Still, there's a reason it's been regarded so highly as one of the best venues for college football in our country. And like I said, it really is the full package, between the program, the school, the place. I'm an hour away from my family down in the city. You really can't beat it. So it's been a dream come true.
Well, we certainly do appreciate you spending a little time with us tonight, and hopefully we will have a successful outcome tomorrow at Temple, and you will get a lot of people that watch that game, which, by the way, is the only college game in the country tomorrow, and it is on ESPN. I know everybody down here will be watching it. So, Zach, thank you for your time. Appreciate you introducing yourself to the listening audience and to the Army football family. I say here in Huntsville, but people listen to us all over the U.S. So thank you for your time. And Bailey, I guess we can go ahead and take that break now.
Thank you, Coach.
Yeah, thanks, Zach.
Absolutely, guys. Beat Navy.
Beat Navy.
Beat Navy.
There you go. Folks, we'll be back in a few when Bailey takes us out of here with that wonderful song. This is Crawdad, back in a little bit.
Log on today, 977ESPN.com.
T-minus 3, 2, 1. Blast off.
There's a new, more convenient way to gear up with the Trash Pandas. The Trash Pandas store on Hughes Road has all the hottest Trash Pandas merchandise. Plus, enjoy free Trash Pandas morning autograph sessions before each Saturday home game through August. It's in the Hughes Plaza Shopping Center near Just Love Coffee. We'll see you at the new Trash Panda store on Hughes Road.
Hi, folks. Bobby White back again for Woody Anderson Ford, inviting you to come test drive any one of our over 100 F-150s. From rock-solid, dependable work trucks to our state-of-the-art Platinum Series, we've got an F-150 for you. Test drive one today, and you'll understand why the F-150 is the best-selling truck in America, going on 48 years in a row. Just as successful offenses and defenses are built on teamwork, Woody Anderson Ford is powered by our people. Our sales and service teams are well-trained to save you time and money. And because we want your business again and again, no one will work harder to earn it. Our mobile service teams come to your home or business for oil changes, brake work, tire rotations, and more. And the great thing is you don't pay extra for it. We come to you with mobile service at no extra charge. Proud to be local, family-owned, and at your service for over 62 years. Woody Anderson Ford, Alabama's F-150 Superstore.
Hey folks, Bob Baumhauer here. Are you ready to enjoy another great football season with us here at Baumhauer's Victory Grill? Our special big game headquarters menu includes fan favorites such as our gooey char-grilled chicken and chips, Victory Caesar salad with your choice of char-grilled chicken, grilled whitefish, or shrimp. And you'll definitely want to tackle our gooey char-grilled chicken sandwich with a fresh mojo marinated boneless chicken breast topped with a Blanco cheese and bacon served with curly fries. Baumhauer's Victory Grill, legendary fun and legendary food.
At Mr. Sparky, we're America's on-time electrician. Flickering lights and hot switches can be annoying, but they can also signal a major problem, or worse, an electrical emergency. So play it safe and leave it to the experts at Mr. Sparky. Trust our team of professional, clean, and friendly electricians. We'll get it done right and get it done safely.
You don't have to put up with any malarkey. Call 888-8-SPARKY.
Independently owned and operated, licensed in the respective state or county.
Welcome back, everybody. This is Bill Crawdad Crawford, and this is Crawdad's Countdown to Kickoff, where we're going to gloat a little bit more over our great win over Rice. And then we're going to break that down pretty good. And then we're going to go into a little analysis of the Temple Owls. This is our third Owl game in a row. But before we go down that road, our other great sponsor, Nick's Ristorante, which is as I say, a driver and a pitching wedge south of the intersection of Bailey Cove and Weatherly in Huntsville, Alabama. The owner, Tom, who, by the way, his dad is a West Point grad. I found him in my yearbook today. He was a physics professor when I was up there, but I didn't have him for class, so he taught smart people, not people like me. And Tom is having an event tomorrow in the bistro portion of the restaurant, not the dining room, where he's going to offer a deal. If you're in the bistro and you wear something Army, you will get 25% off the bistro menu, which has got a lot of good stuff on it. I know myself and Barrett and we'll be down there.
It's going to be a good time.
It's going to be
only
a good
football game on tomorrow.
The only football game on tomorrow on ESPN. So if you can, you need to make a reservation. So call Nick's and make a reservation and come by and see us. And speaking of calling, for the people out there listening, we want to hear from you tonight. 256-576-4977. Call us and give us your thoughts about the season. Just let us know what you think. I mean, we're in the midst of a pretty good year. So let's talk about the last step of that pretty good year. And that was our defeat over the Rice Owls. And guys, I thought, frankly, I've seen a lot of Army football, but recently, I think that was the best total football game I've seen Army play in quite some time. And so we'll just go around. We'll do a little the good, the bad, and the ugly.
Oh, wow. Yeah, if you couldn't known any better, that sounded like an orchestra.
Was that Clint?
Right there.
That was Clint.
That was Clint Eastwood.
That was Clint Eastwood. I got it then, but I do believe we have somebody who's calling in. So We'll see what our caller has to say.
All right.
And hey, we welcome your calls tonight. It's the first quarter of the year. We want to see what everybody has to say.
There's a lot to say too. I mean, we're doing great. Army football is rocking and rolling, going to that 4-0.
Speaking of rocking and rolling,
just a few glitches.
That's okay. No big deal. Those kind of things happen. Bailey, we have a caller online, I think. Steve, I bet this is Steve Cripey. Steve, come on in.
I am here.
Is that Big Cat? That's Big Cat Steve.
It is.
Big Cat Steve Shalou.
Oh.
I was just Steve, did you hear me talking about the tailgate?
I did not.
Oh.
Well, tell us who the Big Cat is.
The Big Cat, Steve Shalou, Army football, my classmate from 92.
Oh.
Steve is saying we had the best offensive line since 1991, back when he played.
Well, Steve, why don't you tell us what's on your mind, and we won't have to take a amazing Kreskin guess at what you're thinking.
No, I'm just I'm super excited about this.
Hi, folks. Bobby White back again for Woody Anderson Ford, inviting you to come test drive.
I'm just excited about tomorrow night's game and the way that the offensive line is playing, for sure.
Well, what other aspects of the team do you think are going pretty good?
Oh, I think the offense in general has an attitude and a mentality that we haven't seen in a long time. They've got an edge to them. They're going to get it done. They're going to go out there. They're going to grind it. They've definitely got just a huge chip on their shoulders, and the defense is coming along from the first game all the way to now. I think they're improving really, really well. We're going to make some waves in the AAC, and we could make waves nationally for sure.
Well, it's that's one of the benefits of being in this conference is we can possibly make some waves nationally, and I think tomorrow night, if we do what we all hope we're going to do on Temple, that may be a reality instead of just a hope. So, what else do you want to talk about, Steve?
Hey, I got a question for it. Steve. Okay. Can you share from that PFF website about the O-line and how they're grading out this year?
Yeah, I've been watching the O-line, and we have PFF is grading offensive lines across the country. Nationally, we have two of our offensive linemen, our left guard, left tackle, are ranked first team nationally as best graded offensive line. In the AAC, we have three. The right tackle with Finucane and the left guard and the left tackle are all first team AAC graded out. Our Scott, who our left tackle, is ranked the number one tackle in the country, grading out on PFF, and he's the number 3 lineman in all of the in the nation right now, graded out. So we've got some technical horsepower on the offensive line to see our linemen up there with Michigan and Alabama and Rutgers and other great offensive linemen that are playing right now. We've got 3 in the AAC. We got 2 nationally that are the best in the nation at their positions.
Yeah, and that PFF is no joke too. I mean,
well, hey,
it's got
somebody tell me what PFF is, please.
Pro Football Focus.
Okay,
and it's got Army rated the highest in the country. Yeah. With a 94.7. So I love that we switched to this kind of zone style offensive line, but it's great, and it gets Bryson Daly a chance to drop back and pass the ball a little bit.
Yeah. Like Steve said, it's the best O-line since he played.
And Steve, when you played, what was it like back then? I mean, were you guys in a zone offense, or how was that like?
Did you wear a face mask?
we did. We played in black. Everything was black and white, and everybody clapped really fast. And you watch the film, but when we played, we were much smaller. We were nipping at everybody's knees and ankles, and heck, we had 130-pound long snapper.
Wonder who that was.
He was small, but he was slow.
Yeah, that's right.
All right, well, Steve, hey, thank you so much for the call. We really appreciate that. Don't be a stranger to the show, and I hope you get to go to the game tomorrow.
I will be. I live about 11 miles east of the stadium. I'll be there at 4:15, having a couple of cocktails and getting ready for us to stay undefeated and beat another AAC opponent and show the country what we're all about. So I'll be there cheering them on.
Awesome. Yeah. BK, I'm going to be there early to set up for Air Force. I promise.
I appreciate that.
All right, Steve. Well, thank you for calling in, and folks, more of you out there. I think we got our break situation straight now, so we're not going to get a little interrupt if you call in 256-576-4977. But Bailey, I want to go ahead and do a new feature on the show. Sprint football, by the way, is a 178-pound league that is played at West Point and throughout the East Coast, maybe coming to the Midwest this year, but we're going to have every week the Sprint Football Minute.
Beep, beep. That's my cue, huh?
That is your cue. That's the Sprint Roadrunner.
No, it's Sprint football. Head coach Mark West, Sprint football team, former 150s. Now it's, when I was there, it was 172 pounds. But for those listening, Sprint football is just, it's regular NCAA football, full pads, but everybody has to be under a certain weight limit. So everybody's cutting. But Sprint football, they play Friday. They play Chestnut Hill, private college out of Philadelphia. And knowing the Army Sprint football team, the two biggest dominant Sprint football teams out there is Army, Navy, and maybe Penn. So I think it's going to be an easy win for Coach West and the boys out there.
And for those of you listening out there, if you let's say you have a son that's playing football and they're not a giant, like, Barrett was not a giant, Jeff Johnson was not a giant, but they both, you can get into college at West Point and play Sprint football. And that's all there is to it. If you weigh less than 178 pounds, you might be a running back here in Huntsville, but you might be a defensive lineman up on the Sprint team. So that's it, folks. The Sprint Football Minute, brought to you by the desire of the three of us to promote Sprint football. So let us go back to break down a little bit of the Army Rice game. The last time I was at the Rice game, we lost. I was in the press box. It was a lot of fun, but let's do a little. I'm not going to do it again. The good, the bad, and the ugly. I'll start off with the good, and I'll take. I'll give a game ball or a helmet sticker to Coach Sean Saturnio, who once again the special teams really shined for the Army Black Knights. We had a blocked field goal and a safety. And folks, if you're doing good in special teams in the college world, they call that Beamer ball, because Frank Beamer of Virginia Tech was such a good special teams coach. But that's my good. Anything good happens in special teams, it usually turns into points.
Yeah, I was going to ask our Orsa guy if there was a stat for teams that had a blocked kick in a game. I bet it's overwhelming that the team that has a blocked kick is going to win that game.
Oh yeah, I bet we're pretty much up there, ranked number one.
We are in block kicks. We're ranked number one in the country. So Jeff, give me another good thing about our win over Rice.
Yeah, just kind of dogpiling on what Big Cat Steve Shalou was talking about, the O-line dominance. It all starts with the O-line, and I love our quarterback as much as anybody. He is very special. He is a bruiser. He is a punisher. He goes downfield and makes blocks for slot backs. That is very special. And I hope he gets invited to that Heisman, show. But again, it's early. But the O-line dominance was great. The +2 in the turnover margin, I think it was, right? That is really important if you're going to win football games.
Well, I completely agree. I mean, that offensive line blocking back there, and I mentioned it before, Bryson Daly getting back to drop it back for a pass. And, a lot of people are calling, Army's game versus Rice the Bryson Daly show, because he put on some records. And I mean, he's just going all out. And look at these stats real quick. Bryson Daly had 4 first half touchdowns, 2 passing, 2 rushing, 5 in total but I mean, he just went all out. I mean, he's leading, passing other quarterbacks back in the day. I mean, it's just going nuts. Army right now, 13 for, I got lost in my stat sheet. Sorry. But Army right now, 13 for 13 in the red zone for offense. I mean, that's amazing.
It's like a cripey protege with all the stats.
I got Steve's, all of his breakdown and stuff. But, here's some more, 34 points per game for Army, 9 points per game allowed. I mean, we're the second leading team in rushing offense right now.
Mm-hmm.
And right now with our win streak, we're behind Missouri, which Missouri
almost
lost to that Vanderbilt in overtime, but we're right there, right behind Missouri. And I think we can, continue this winning streak and, knock on wood. I know it's early, but, win the AAC.
Yeah. 9.3 points per game is number 8 for defense in the country.
Well, if you've ever read the book Ball 4 by Jim Bouton, he had a famous line in there. It was a baseball book, but he said his manager, one time he came in there with a big stat sheet saying how good he was doing. And he said, son, you can tell your statistics to go take a hike. And I'm not going to say the statistics can take a hike, but I'll tell you what my stat is, and that's just the gut. Just looking at what's going on, we look like we are better coached. We look like we have a good authoritative game plan. Our players are hustling. They're out there in 108-degree weather in Florida Atlantic, and it's like it doesn't even faze them. We look like a hungry team, and I don't think you can put a stat on heart, but if you could, we would be leading the country.
Well, those guys know last year when we had, a couple of those games we should have won. It came down to just a couple of plays, and all the games, a lot of the games we play come down to a couple of plays. We're not going to really blow people out, and they fed off of that, and I'm really impressed. But again, it's early. The flip side of that, the two teams we've beaten that are FBS are 1-3. So let's not get ahead of ourselves. But I'm very optimistic.
Oh yeah. You can't ride high on the hog, as they say down here. But one of the other things I wanted to point out about our defense. Every game so far, we've had an interception. We've had 5 total this season. Every game we've had an interception. This last one, linebacker Baylor Newsome. Actually, we had 2 this game. Linebacker Baylor Newsome and linebacker Andon Thomas. I mean, it's pretty neat to have an interception every game.
Yeah.
The only ugly, I don't really want to throw a bad or an ugly because it was just a great win against Rice. But the only ugly is no sacks. Haven't had a sack. Yeah. And we just, got to get pressure on the quarterback, especially going into Temple, who's, the quarterback's shown to.
Little Warner did have an extremely quick release, though, but I'm not making excuses for him. Yeah, I'd like to see some pressures. But.
Well, one other stat. This is a Crawdad stat. You won't find it in any book anywhere, but if you've ever been around me when we're watching the game with the alumni, there, for some reason, some tradition got started where people thought if I had a Pabst Blue Ribbon that the team was doing good. And it even got to the point where when the team was doing bad, people would just send one over to my table. Like,
is that what you're just trying to get some free PBR?
No, but what happened in the last 2 games is I have had a person who will remain nameless has sent me a picture of a Pabst Blue Ribbon with the red circle and the slash on it. Like it's not needed this year. And that's
nice.
There's no doubt it is not needed. So, Bailey, I think we need to take a break. I'm about to choke to death over here. So,
out of enjoyment for the Black Knight football.
Yeah, I'm just torn up. So, this is Crawdad. We'll take a break. We'll be back for our last segment. And hey, get a dime, run out to that payphone, 256-576-4977. Give us a shout.
97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Hey, Huntsville. Looking for action-packed events? The Huntsville Sports Commission is your hub for all things sports. From youth events to national tournaments, we've got events that thrill and inspire. Whether you're an athlete, a fan, or a volunteer, there's something for everyone. Cheer on your favorite teams, witness amazing talent, and be a part of the excitement. Check out our event calendar and get involved at huntsvillesports.com. That's huntsvillesports.com. Be there, Huntsville.
Hi, folks. Bobby White back again for Woody Anderson Ford, inviting you to come test drive any one of our over 100 F-150s. From rock-solid, dependable work trucks to our state-of-the-art Platinum Series, we've got an F-150 for you. Test drive one today, and you'll understand why the F-150 is the best-selling truck in America, going on 48 years in a row. Just as successful offenses and defenses are built on teamwork, Woody Anderson Ford is powered by our people. Our sales and service teams are well-trained to save you time and money. And because we want your business again and again, no one will work harder to earn it. Our mobile service teams come to your home or business for oil changes, brake work, tire rotations, and more. And the great thing is you don't pay extra for it. We come to you with mobile service at no extra charge. Proud to be local, family-owned, and at your service for over 62 years. Woody Anderson Ford, Alabama's F-150 Superstore.
The state's largest orthopedic group is growing to meet the needs of the patients in our community. The Orthopedic Center has long been the most trusted name in orthopedics in North Alabama. So as our area continues on the fast track, so does the need for premier orthopedic care anywhere and anytime you need it. TOC is proud to announce the opening of our new locations in Albertville and Hampton Cove, along with the grand opening of our newest office in Decatur. These clinics will offer the same high-quality orthopedic care you have come to associate with TOC, with the convenience of being closer to home. As a patient, your time is your most precious asset, and we recognize that at TOC. That's why we are also proud to announce the opening of our urgent ortho clinics to handle those bumps and bruises that need prompt attention. These clinics are available to care for acute orthopedic injuries with no appointment necessary. With 38 physicians, 20 centers of excellence, and now more than a dozen locations to serve you, TOC will continue to be the name you turn to for the best orthopedic care at the right time. Visit our website at visittoc.com for more information. TOC, helping you live a better life.
From the Fox 54 Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Emily Owen. Isolated showers and a few thunderstorms will remain in the forecast for this Wednesday night. We'll see temperatures fall into the low 60s for the overnight. Heading into our Thursday, we'll see scattered showers and storms mainly in the afternoon. Otherwise, we'll sit under mostly clouds. High temperatures topping out in the mid to upper 70s for the afternoon. I'm Fox 54 meteorologist Emily Owen on your home for ESPN Radio 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Welcome back, everybody. This is Bill Crawdad Crawford, and this is the final segment of Crawdad's Countdown to Kickoff. I think I'm going to make it through without expiring, and thank God for Ricola. And
you're doing great, Bill.
Yeah, doing great.
Doing good. And I think we have Rick on the line. Rick, are you there?
I am. Thank you.
Woody Pressel.
All right, Jan. Hey, brother.
What's
we
up?
all know that special teams are a third of the game that we play. So what is your assessment so far this year of the Army football special teams?
Well, I'll give you my assessment. I think that right now, Coach Sean Saturnio should be the special teams coach of the year for the college football world. I think our special teams have been doing great. For the last couple of years, we lead the nation in block kicks. We blocked another field goal. I don't think we've had one kickoff returned against us, hardly any punt returns. The list goes on and on. Now, yes, we did do one little thing the other day where we faked a punt and it didn't work out so well. But my assessment of the special teams is Cisco Nabear, 2 thumbs up. What about you, Jeff and Barry?
Yeah, he was interviewed. We were just talking about that CBS Sports special on Army football, and it was a pretty cool interview with him. He said, guys here, the attitude is we get to play special teams. Other programs, it's like, yeah, you have to go out there on special teams. But Army, they've got a lot of fire in their eyes, even for the special teamers. Right, Woody? You know the deal. Who's their outside line?
Absolutely. Hey, it's a third of the game, my brother. You got it. You got to win the special teams battle.
Barrett, what's your opinion on the special teams?
No, I agree. I think our special teams has stepped up to the plate, and it's almost like you can expect almost a block punt or some type of fake, on a fake punt or a fake field goal. I mean, it's exciting. You don't really get excited to watch the special teams play, and hopefully we don't have, we have very limited, 4 and outs, but when we do get in those situations, the stress of, we have to make a play on special teams, there's not that much stress.
And I was thinking about that too. Sometimes it's like when you throw a pass, they'll soften up the D for the run. Maybe they're like, hey, we're going to tell everybody, we can fake and just lighten the rush.
Keep them on their toes.
Yeah, keep the rush off the punter, maybe.
Well, hey, breaking news. Speaking of special teams, Terrell Robinson, number 21, was on the practice field this week.
Oh, that's good.
He's going to be coming
see him back.
He's going to be coming back, and he is a dynamite kickoff and punt returner, not to mention a running back and a receiver. And Woody, the one thing we haven't had, which the Crawdad predictometer, if there is such a thing, says that this is the year we're going to have a punt return for a touchdown.
That sounds great. And, special teams set the tone for the season, I believe, in that first game of the year with that fake punt right out of the gate.
Absolutely, brother.
Yeah. Thanks for having me on, fellas, and keep talking good Army football.
Okay. Hey, Woody, just out of curiosity, where are you calling from?
I call from Atlanta, Georgia. I was an outside linebacker with Yount back in the day.
Well, that's good.
Back when we were slow and small, too.
Well, now we're small and fast. So
Woody delivered blows. We were co-captains
right.
against Rutgers. We should have beat Rutgers, but it was.
Well, hey, well, hey, Woody, thanks for the call. And folks, let's go back into our little analysis of. Let's talk a little bit about the upcoming game versus the Temple Owls. This is our third owl in a row to play. Who playing those Temple Owls? Temple is a team we have a 13-game history with them. They actually lead the series 7-6, but in Monken's tenure, he leads the series against Temple. Temple's not been having a very good year. They did, however, change quarterbacks last week, and their new quarterback threw for 5 touchdown passes, including a 91-yard touchdown pass. But the thing they cannot do is they cannot stop the run. And if you can't stop the run against Army, you might have a long night coming.
Yeah, I think that like previous games like Hawaii, who had a really big gunslinger, or San Diego State in the bowl game, high potent offenses. If we can control the ball, we can throw a lot of things at them when our defense is on the field. So I feel good about it.
Well, go ahead, Barrett.
Well, yeah, and I was going to say, their quarterback, Evan Simon, right now he's got a 65% pass completion. He is the backup because I think the first string was hurt.
Yeah.
Question mark. Yeah. But he does seem like he's very proficient passing the ball, and it's key for our defensive line to put pressure on him, and to get a sack, get the ball away from him, and just be in a physical front on the defense. But looking at Temple, their losses are to Oklahoma, to Navy, to Coastal Carolina. Coastal Carolina game a little close, but overall, they've had one win. But I think they're a formidable foe. I think, if we sleep on these guys, they'll definitely come to bite us in the butt. And then looking at Steve Kripe's statistics that he sent us, our Army looks good in all of them. I mean, in terms of the rank and the value of passing offense, rushing offense, passing efficiency, fourth down, all those metrics, we seem to be doing a little bit better than Temple, but at the same time, we just can't let our guard down.
Well, Temple is going to have to live up to the motto of their college, which is Perseverante Vincit, which means perseverance conquers. And I think Miss Fern Beeler, my freshman in high school Latin teacher, would be smiling in her grave.
Such a great accent.
That was very impressive.
Very impressive. But I want to throw a trivia question out there, see if anybody wants to take a chance at it. 256-576-4977. Somebody call in and tell me why Temple is called the Owls. And again, the cherry and white owls with the.
I have no idea.
I do. I know. That's why I asked the question. But, last week, Temple, it is their home game. They are playing in Lincoln Financial Field. It's not a very far trip for us, as we know, since we've all made that trip down for the Army-Navy game. But I don't know. This is one of the games that has me a little bit worried because we are riding a wave. I hope we don't go to sleep and we say, yeah, we're in the big city of Philadelphia. We're big dogs. We can ease up a little bit. We better not ease up, or that team will come back to bite us.
Well, and it's crucial that we win this game. A conference game. Looking at the American Athletic Conference, the top powerhouses right now is Army, Navy, Tulane, and UTS and Memphis lost to Navy, so they're kind of out of the running, so to say. But we've got to win this on the road, and it'll be a big test of our strength to beat a AAC conference team on the road.
And by the way, we did have a caller who did not stick around. He just wanted to ask the question about how does being in a conference affect Army? Barrett, you started out on it.
Yeah. It's so basically the best two teams in the American Athletic Conference with the best conference record will play in the championship game. Right now it's looking like Army Navy, which wow does the Army Navy game come after the fact. So that's kind of how that works with the two best teams. And then there's a bunch of tiebreakers and, stuff like that. But right now it's just two best teams with the best conference record. So it's looking good. And to know all the teams in the American Athletic Conference, they publicly announced that they're staying with the conference. It looks like a little bit more conference realignment with the Pac-12 Mountain West. So it's good that they said, hey, we're going to stay with the conference. So we'll see that G5 spot in the college football playoff. We could be playing Alabama, depending on how everything goes tomorrow on Saturday.
Okay, we got a caller. Joel, go ahead.
Hey, the Temple Owls started as a night school.
That's your trivia question.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's Joel. You are absolutely right.
What does he win?
Well, he wins a firm round of applause from us.
Way to go.
Way to go. And they did start as a night school. They started in the basement of a Baptist church.
Nice.
And Grace Baptist Church in Philadelphia. And the students actually worked during the day and they went to school at night. And the locals called them the Night Owls, hence the Temple Owls. So good guess there, Joel. Anything else for us? Oh, he's gone.
How long has their former coach, been at Nebraska now? Wasn't he was at Temple and then left for Nebraska? Right?
Yeah, Coach Rule. Well, now he went to a bunch of places. He went to coach the Carolina Panthers, and then,
that's right. Yeah,
he left the Carolina.
So it's
Panthers
been a while.
Yeah,
he's been gone for a long time.
Temple's head coach Stan Drayton, been there for 3 years so far.
Yeah.
All right, well, folks, the clock is going to become our enemy in just a minute, so. Let's go ahead and get some predictions for the game. And Barrett, we will start with you.
Oh, wow. It's not every day that I get a first start. This is quite the honor.
Okay, Jeff, we will start.
Army 27-14.
You don't think we'll put more than 27 points on the board?
I mean, we're on the road. This is going to sound silly, but when I was a senior, we played Louisville in a 4:00 afternoon game, and it seemed like an eternity before the game kicked off. Right? These guys are used to playing at noon. It's a 7 Eastern kickoff. There's no doubt Coach Monken's going to have these guys ready to play, no doubt. But it's just a few intangibles, and maybe some of them are drinking the Kool-Aid or reading headlines or listening to us telling them how great they are. I hope not, but
hope they're asleep right now, getting a rest.
They're not drinking the rat poison.
Undersell, over deliver. 27-14.
Okay, Barrett, let's hear a prediction from you.
No, I think Temple's going to put up 14 points, but I think Army's going to win it 31-14. I think we're going to put up 4 touchdowns and a field goal. But I do. We've been having good success of.
Does that add up?
It adds up. Yeah, I think so. At least on my map, I don't know. But we've been having success of almost every drive we do comes out in a score, and so I think we're going to spread it out over the 60 minutes. But I think we're going to win 31-14.
Well, Temple, by the way, has given up almost 40 points a game, and they cannot stop the run. And we certainly can do that. We can run well. I think they're going to put the other quarterback in, and he's going to have a bad day. So my prediction is this. We're going to have a defensive score. We haven't had one yet all year. We're going to have another 400-plus yard rushing game. And last week I predicted 52-10, and it could have been that, except Coach Monken showed that he was a gentleman, and he called off the dogs and pulled our starters in the fourth quarter. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to say 37-10, not much different than you, Jeff, but I do think it's going to be a win. And again, folks, if you're in Hunts Vegas, call Nick's Restaurante, make a reservation, come see us down there tomorrow night. And if you need to get a new mortgage for whatever reason, call NorthAlabamaMortgage.com. Barrett, how many days?
Sir. Oh, gosh. Fumbling out.
Never rattle papers on the radio.
There are 79 in a butt days until Army beats the hell out of Navy at FedEx Field in Landover, Maryland.
And by the way, the Temple game is in Lincoln Financial Field. Normally where the Army-Navy game would be. So, folks, we're a quarter away through the season. We're 3-0. After tomorrow night, I'm very certain that we're going to be 4-0. I'm looking forward to that. The one thing that the big concern I have this year, and fingers crossed, and throw salt over my shoulders, whatever else you do, is we really don't need Bryson Daly to get hurt.
No, we don't.
That would be a very bad blow to the team. I know our young backup Coleman came in the other day. And he looked okay.
He looked okay, but yeah, we can't lose Bryson. He's been key to our success. Him, Noah Short, and Kanye Udo. I mean, we just 3 powerhouses there, and our offensive line, them staying healthy too.
Okay, and one final thing, if you are listening to the show and you want to play Army football and nobody's paying any attention to you, get in touch with Coach Zach Gold, not Coach, the Director of Player Personnel, Zach Gold. He sounded to me like an honest broker, and that he would take a look at whatever you happen to send him. And he is a good man, and it was a great interview, and it was a lot of fun today. We missed the human Ouija board, Steve Cripey. He's up with his family having a very good time on a well-deserved vacation. Tomorrow we will be dodging rain and thunderstorms here in lovely Hunts Vegas, Alabama. Jeff Johnson, the long snapper, thank you for subbing tonight.
Thanks for having me.
You did a great job. Barrett and I were both in the F2 Zoo. If you see his F2 Zoo shirt, and even lived in the same room for not together, no, many years apart. And we also want to thank Bailey behind the board. And I'd like to send a special thanks out to the Ricola Cough Drop Company for keeping me halfway alive.
Way to power
tonight.
through it. Way to power through it, man.
Getting teared up.
And we'll be back next week. Same Army time, same Army channel. And we'll hopefully be.
I think what he was going to say is hopefully we'll be 4-0, which would be the first time since 1998 and the third time that we've done that.
Okay, folks, remember, no matter where you are, no matter what you're doing, somewhere in this great world of ours, there's a soldier, sailor, airman, or Marine standing a watch so you can enjoy the life that you live in this great country. Go Army.
Beat Navy.